Hi, I'm Gloria Puerta from Feed and Fortify Community Organization, today in Latino role model. And be yourself. Try to have your purpose in life and be a legacy of service.
My name is Milagros Rivera, and I'm a founder and mentor of Daughters of the Mighty King mentoring program for young girls. I am inspired and encouraged to be here because I want to see a new generation rise up.
Are you proud to be Hispanic?
Hispanics in Florida now have the first Hispanic car license plate in the United States.
Be a proud Hispanic.
Put the Hispanic plate on your car.
I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a scientist.
I want to be an engineer.
I want to be a police officer. I want to be a professional dancer.
By getting the Hispanic plate for your car,
you will support scholarships and community programs.
Call now or visit HispanicAchievers.org.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of EduTV. I'm your host, Greg Perkins, and tonight's guest is Mr. Damian Moses. Welcome, sir.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Mr. Perkins.
Yes. Okay, I went on your website, did a little research.
Okay, it's important.
It says that you all are Renaissance thinkers for the digital age. So walk me through Bach Academy, why was it started, and what's the teaching philosophy?
Bach Academy is part of the Lake Wells Charter School system, in which a whole town decided they wanted more for their children in education, and they decided to convert the current public school system there to charter schools. Okay. Which they still serve the same children, but they have a little more freedoms in the decision making, the decisions that are made within the school settings. And we also have our own board outside of Polk County Schools. And so our board regulates us as schools rather than Polk County School Board.
Mm-hmm. And so charters are giving them a little more flexibility to do some innovative things, because as I was on your website,
yes,
I saw that you guys do a lot of things. So one of the questions that I have, I know you have the strict FSA standards.
Yes, sir.
But you guys also have a lot of innovative things that you're doing. So how do you provide this cultural teaching experience while still helping the kids to meet those standards?
Well, I mean, I think we need to understand in education, for one thing, all students aren't the same, and we need to also understand that they're digital natives. Mm-hmm. Okay, the school that I went to umpteen years ago is not the school that kids are going to now. Everything is very, very fast paced, and you got to remember that these children are the ones that really have the internet. They don't know anything but the internet. Well, the internet didn't even exist, nor did different electronic devices. If you looked on the website, we're an Apple distinguished school, so we have iPads, MacBooks, and we have all these different devices that the kids use every day within the classroom. Mm-hmm. Having that understanding that students are different makes you approach educating them very different. I remember when I was in school, it was always lecturing. Well, I can tell you, the lecturing component is not as effective with the students nowadays than it was in the past, because they're a different child. And school has changed. And at one point I was an elementary school principal as well. And kids in kindergarten no longer, you remember, Greg, when we were in school that you would have the little kitchens and all that stuff, and everybody do the fun things, have the same, well, they're reading now.
That's right.
Okay, kindergartners are reading. Right. They're very well reading the newspaper, and so their vocabulary levels are higher, and so we really kind of need you have to adjust to the needs of children, especially with understanding that the capacity for the careers and things that are going to be available when they finish school, what are going to look like. Right. Okay, and those careers have changed, like I said, since I've been in school, and you as well. Mm-hmm.
So you guys have a big emphasis on technology, so it seems that it involves a lot of hands-on experiences as well as the traditional curriculum that's in the book. Well, so tell me how you guys pull that off.
Well, that is something whereas you have to know your standards. Okay, I know a lot of time people like to craft the phrase teaching to the test, but it's not so much that. It's knowing your standards and making sure that the lessons that are taught embody those standards, and that the kids have mastery of those standards. I'll give you a great example of a project-based lesson that we had in our STEM class. We actually have a STEM class that the kids go to. That one particular class, they were doing some studies on atmosphere.
Okay.
And so what they did, rather than some of the maybe lecturing or going to a textbook and all those different things, they actually built a weather balloon from scratch and launched a weather balloon that went up 92,000 feet. Well, you tell me what student is not going to have that memory of learning how to build this weather balloon, how high it went, because of the fact that they actually loaded it down with a GoPro camera and some other things to measure how high it went, and also some tracking devices. Well, they learned about the stratosphere, they learned about all those different things, but that was from a hands-on type learning environment. And so when you're talking about kids nowadays, it's much, much, much more meaningful when they have an opportunity to kind of use the tools that they have. Including their minds and that innovative mind. And that's where the whole phrase also for the Renaissance thinker, because we have thinkers that are outside the box thinkers that use all their God-given talents to do certain project-based.
Now, I read Steve Jobs' book, and I see that you guys are an Apple Distinguished, I think, what is the word, Apple Distinguished?
Apple Distinguished Program.
There you go. What is that, and tell us how it works?
We are, Edward W. Bach Academy is the first and only Apple Distinguished program in Polk County.
Okay.
We still are the only one there and the first. What it says is that technology integration within the classroom setting is done at a very high level, and that the philosophy of using those tools is throughout the entire school.
Okay.
And our teachers use it day in, day out. Now, I will tell you this, Mr. Perkins, that when we had that wonderful, wonderful prestigious occasion when we were told that we were an Apple Distinguished Program, the one thing that I told the entire student body and our teaching staff is that, guess what, technology will never take the place of quality instruction.
Correct.
Never take the place of a great teacher. Technology is a phenomenal thing. It's a great tool to enhance learning within the classroom setting, but a poor teacher with technology is just that, is a poor teacher with some junk.
That is correct.
Okay? So we always have to keep that in mind. And like I said, I am one of those, I am a techie. I believe in it because, like I said, the approach to teaching children in this day and age has to be different.
And with the use of technology, and there are some bright kids, like you said. Some of those kids, if you take a site like Khan Academy, if they wanted to work ahead of the teacher, they could. So how do you balance meeting those needs of kids who are just ready to take off, as opposed to maybe a C kid who's kind of struggling to keep up? Well,
and that is one of those things that technology has to be there so that you can achieve those goals. Okay, not having ceilings. You know who put ceilings in place, Mr. Perkins? It's adults.
Okay.
Okay, we're the ones that say, hey, you're only 13. You're not supposed to be going to another level. One thing that we do at Bach is that we give our kids in middle school the PSAT.
Oh, great, awesome.
We give them the PSAT in middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And we have a large number of them that take the SAT. Because like I said, you don't put those ceilings in place. And using technology actually allows you, because you mentioned Khan Academy, you have a bunch of different venues that can help facilitate those needs when you have kids that need to go on. And those things, in this day and age, we really have to have in place within our school settings, because you have kids that are at different levels. It's one of the toughest jobs that an educator has, to make sure you facilitate the need of every child within your classroom. Yeah,
it sounds like you guys are really doing or encouraging kids to take to participate in activities that are going to be tomorrow's job, the whole notion of college and career readiness. So is that one of the major themes that you all push?
Well, I mean, I think what we do is we prepare our kids for, let's say, 5 years down the road.
Okay.
Well, we know that, of course, science, technology, engineering, and math are one of those key components for the careers in the future. And so we do have IT Kid Academy 1 class, whereas students come in and actually learn how to build their own computers.
Okay.
And actually take those computers home with them and they use them. at their house. But what we've done now is have kids thinking outside the box of what they could do, what they could become. And also they're building their own tools. So guess what? They can fix their own tools.
Yep.
Okay. In IT too, we work on website design.
Oh, wow.
We work on developing their own apps. And then we have the next component, and this was based off of need. Our kids move so fast. I really thought I was doing something, Mr. Perkins, when I did IT Kid Academy 1, and the kids crafting their own computers and stuff. And we said, you know, it's going to take a whole semester for them to learn this stuff. And guess it took them 9 weeks.
Wow.
They put lights in it. They did all kinds of stuff, brought it to my office and did all kinds of hybrid stuff with the things. And so based off of seeing our kids moving that fast with those pieces of technology, we made the decision to have IT Kid Academy 3, where our kids are learning how to code in middle school.
Wow,
and
that is totally awesome.
Yes, sir.
And I understand that you guys have gone into the drone business how and such. We have about 45 seconds left. So tell us about the drones and how you guys avoid to stay out of trouble with the FAA.
Well, we had a wonderful lady by the name of Louisa Winters that came down from Washington, D.C. That her thing is really, she's a talented Adobe trainer and all these different certifications, but her passion is drones and videotaping things. So we always want to give our kids that kind of exposure, but also give them the education behind it. And so she came in and did actually a day-long training on drones with our kids and our staff to teach them about the parameters, about what's coming down with the FAA, and about certifications that they're thinking about having in the future. You know, it was a great experience not only for the kids but also for the staff as well. And so it was a hands-on approach, including myself. Okay, I'm a big kid, but I'm a kid. But we're looking at that opportunity for our kids to have that exposure to looking at what kind of career is going to be in the future, and that's what we do at Bob.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Sound like you guys have a lot of good things going on, and thank you for joining us on this first section of EduTV. Join us again for the second segment.
My name is Nilmari Zapata, and I am a Latina role model because I believe that you can overcome any circumstances that come in your way and be the best version of yourself.
Hello, I'm Sandra Rivera, and I'm a Latina role model. Whatever your struggles are in life, whatever you don't have or don't have access to, don't use that as an excuse for not pursuing your dreams and moving forward. Get out of your own way and get out of your comfort zone, and you will be amazed at the growth that you will experience.
Are you proud to be Hispanic?
Hispanics in Florida now have the first Hispanic car license plate in the United States.
Be a proud Hispanic.
Put the Hispanic plate on your car.
I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a scientist.
I want to be an engineer. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a professional dancer.
By getting the Hispanic plate for your car,
you will support scholarships and community programs.
Call now or visit HispanicAchievers.org.
Welcome back to EduTV. My name is Lisa Garrigas, and today we have Samuel Vilchez, who was just given a full ride scholarship to Princeton University, and Miss Lopez, who is his Spanish AP teacher. Thank you guys so much for coming today on the show.
Thank you.
Now, Samuel, we would like to start off with just sharing, if you can share a little bit about yourself and just tell us what inspired you to apply to Princeton.
Okay, so I came to the United States only 5 years ago from Venezuela. When I came, I didn't know any English. I was put into the ESOL program. And then I saw how America allowed me to pursue many opportunities. And so starting in 9th grade, I began to take some honor classes, then AP classes and dual enrollment.
In 9th grade, just
in 9th grade.
As soon as you started high school?
Yeah, it was like, I only been here for a year, and then I started taking honor classes. Then as I started seeing my potential and started getting good grades, I became involved in the community and also became involved within the school. In 10th grade, I became the treasurer of the Hispanic Society at Colonial High School. And I began to see how the Hispanic student body there was not as well represented. So in 11th grade, I decided to found the Hispanic Honor Society with Miss Johanna Lopez. Then after that, I also ran for class president. I became class president. And this last year, I focused on the Hispanic Honor Society and founded another club, the College Dream Club, to help students get to college. And in the community, I've been involved in the Governor's Cabinet, in the Governor's Youth Cabinet, the Florida Youth Commission, and in the OCPS Superintendent advisory board, and I've done more than 600 community service hours in the last 3 years. So I saw that I had potential, and I decided to go ahead and apply to good schools. And Princeton was at the top of the list.
You already had a plan when you came here to the United States. You already had a plan, because it seems like in 9th grade you already started to take honors courses, which is very impressive, especially for someone coming from another country, not knowing the language at all. What motivated you? Did you have a plan right when you started?
No, I did not have a plan, because when I came and in 9th grade, I didn't even know what Princeton University was. So I didn't have a plan, but in life, you just have to give 110% of what you have on everything you do. It doesn't matter what it is. Not because you have a plan, you don't know where you might end up. Like if I was to go back 5 years or 4 years to 9th grade, I wouldn't know that I would be going to Princeton University and graduating valedictorian and all of that. But I did.
It just all fell into place.
I did give it my best, and as soon as opportunities presented in my path, I took them. So yeah. It's more about that.
Right, and I see that you mentioned Mrs. Lopez. How does she play a role in your situation right now with you being in Princeton and just being so successful in community service hours? I know you brought her here today as a special guest, so can you share a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and have her talk a little bit as well.
Colonial High School has 2 different campuses, one for freshman students and then one from anyone else, basically. And as soon as I went to the main campus, which is the one for 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders, she was the first one to actually inspire me to do more. And she realized that I did have potential. And she selected me as the treasurer for the Hispanic Society at the time. And then from there on, I've been working with her for the last 3 years, not only by taking her classes. I took her AP Spanish and language and the literature class, but also through the organization that we have.
Okay, now Ms. Lopez, as his sponsor, what role do you play? What do you do?
Well, my main objective of the club is to help them to develop their leadership. For me, it's not just, I don't have to make decisions. They are the one who's supposed to make the decisions, schedule activities, and then I supervise them and tell them this is a good idea or this is a bad idea. And we get with the committee and make a meeting, and we decide it in a democratic way. Sometimes I decide something and they just vote, no, miss, this is not good, we have to do this and that because of the population of the school. And I just try to just supervise like that.
Right, and I admire that. I'm a teacher as well, and so as a teacher, I just see how you are helping him to, strive to be better. Is this something that you do with all of your students, or when a student specifically asks you for help?
You know what? I think that is all the students. It doesn't matter the level. It's just that I have to believe in them. I have to make sure that they believe in themselves. That's the main thing.
Oh, that's very inspiring. And with you, I'm sure you study a lot, especially having all these honors classes and getting accepted into Princeton. How do you study? What do you think you do that's different from the normal study habits of most students here?
So what most students do is they memorize. If you memorize something, you're going to forget it.
Correct.
So don't memorize. Look up examples or go on YouTube and make study actually something better. Not fun because it's not fun, but actually make it better. Not just study to memorize, but study to learn. So that's your main priority. You want to learn. So usually when I read, I pick up many things and I'm able to remember them. But also I look up pictures and videos about different topics that relate to whatever I'm studying.
Okay. And what do you have to share with other students who admire you, who want to be where you are?
So again, in life, it should be your number one priority to give 100% on everything you do. It doesn't matter how little it is. You have to give 100%. You don't know where doing something might take you, but if you do it right, it will take you somewhere else. And that's the main priority.
Correct. So just in wrapping this up, I know when you came here, you stated that you did not know any English at all. Was that a barrier for you? Was it a challenge? I know you went right into honors courses, but
Yeah, it was, and I remember the first day and the second day I went to school here in the United States, I cried. It was really hard, it was tough. But then I started seeing how if I tried, I could learn. So I got myself into learning English. I started watching TV, I started reading. Reading helped a lot because I was able to—
Reading books in English?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was able to pronounce it, but I was also able to see it, so I learned how to write, and then I learned how to speak, and I learned how to read.
Did you have an English-Spanish dictionary that you usually refer to?
Not really.
So
I did have one, but I didn't refer to it often. But I did have one.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could ask you questions for days. You know, you are an inspiration to so many children here in America.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks.
Thank you as well, Ms. Lopez. Okay, we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back in a few.
Are you proud to be Hispanic?
Hispanics in Florida now have the first Hispanic car license plate in the United States.
Be a proud Hispanic.
Put the Hispanic plate on your car.
I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a scientist.
I want to be an engineer. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a professional dancer.
By getting the Hispanic plate for your car,
you will support scholarships and community programs.
Call now or visit HispanicAchievers.org.
Welcome back to EduTV. Again, here we have Samuel Vilchez and his mom, Tania Santiago. Thank you, Mrs. Santiago, for coming on the show. Now, we want to go ahead and address a couple of things that you talked about before. It stuck out to me that you mentioned giving it 110%. Where did that come from?
That came from personal. So in 9th grade, there was this teacher. I had her for honors geometry. And she kind of made fun of my accent. And after that, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm going to start being successful. And I'm going to prove her wrong. I'm going to prove her that not because I had an accent or because I didn't know English doesn't mean that I'm not going to be successful. So that's how I started giving it to everything 100%, 110%.
And it's interesting that you say that, especially for other watchers out there who are in your same shoes, going through obstacles. You were able to use that and turn it into a strength and actually motivate you to going further. So who inspired you to be great, take honors classes?
So it was personal inspiration. I always tried to give it the best, as I said before. And I always done that since elementary school. So it was personal. I feel like my parents played a big role because they came here and they had good jobs in Venezuela, and they came here sacrificing everything for me and my sister to have the best opportunities. So I kind of, that was a main factor.
Okay, and then speaking about that, moving here from Venezuela, that was a very, very big step. What was your goal in doing that? Did you automatically envision your children having just a better future, better education? What was your incentive in moving here?
No, nosotros decidimos venirnos hasta acá porque no habían oportunidades, porque si tú no estás con el gobierno, no puedes superar. O sea, siempre tienes que estar con el gobierno para que te den oportunidades. Eso fue una de las razones que nos hizo venir hasta aquí.
Okay.
We decided to come to the United States because in Venezuela, opportunities are only given to those who are for the government. And if you're not with the government, then the opportunities are denied to you. Wow. So that's why we came here.
And how did you become so great of a mother? It just seems that you're so active in your child's life and you support him in everything that he does. How did you become this super great mom?
Thank you.
¿Cómo te convertiste en una gran madre?
Bueno, yo desde que me casé pensé en tener mis hijos y darle las oportunidades, esforzarme cada día para que ellos fueran mejor que nosotros.
So ever since I got married, I decided to have kids and to give them the best opportunities so that they could be better than us.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that, especially for other moms out there who need that inspiration to help their children support their education. Now, earlier we mentioned that you were accepted into Princeton. Were there other universities that you were accepted into?
Yeah, I applied to 9 schools and I was accepted by all of them.
All of them?
Yeah, I was accepted to Yale University and Columbia University as well.
University and Yale?
Yale and Columbia, yeah.
And what made you choose Princeton?
So Princeton has a really focused education on the undergraduate. In fact, they don't have a law school or medical school. So everything they have, all the money, resources, they spend it on the undergrad. And I feel like that's what makes Princeton the best undergraduate institution here in America. So that's why I decided to go there.
So it seems like you did your research. You didn't just pick the first one that accepted you.
No, I did my research, and that's why I applied first there.
That's great. And what are you studying at Princeton?
I'll be studying political science.
What is your aspiration? What do you want to do with it?
As of now, I don't know, because if I was to look back 5 years from now, I wouldn't be able to see that I was going to be here.
Right.
So as of now, I don't know, but I really like anything that has to do with international politics or legislative politics, or Congress, or some.
So you're
some
saying
kind of
you want to jump in and just see where it takes you
See
from
where it
there.
takes me.
See what.
Yeah.
That is great. Do you have any people who inspire you? Any favorite quotes that you go by?
Not
I know
really.
you said that you read a lot. So did you come across?
Well,
any?
I don't read novels or anything like that. I only read when I have to read, but I do read a lot of articles online and stuff like that. But I don't read novels.
So you read articles?
Like
I
do.
Current events, things happening in the world.
I'm really, I'm always paying attention to politics in Venezuela and of course here. And I feel like a great inspiration will be Leopoldo Lopez, who is the Venezuelan opposition leader who is in jail right now because of the government. And also here, President Obama, how he overstepped the racial discriminations to become president.
That's wonderful. So do you ever plan to go back to Venezuela to maybe after you graduate? Do you have any plans?
I don't know, maybe. That's a possibility out there.
Okay, great, wonderful. Can you share with us what a normal day looks like for you?
So I wake up about at 6 a.m., then I take my mom to work, my sister to school, and I pick up my friend to go to school. Then I go to school, I go to Miss Lopez's room. I do work for Hispanic Honor Society. Then I go to I only have 3 classes right now. I go to my 3 classes, and then I go to Miss Lopez's room to work for Hispanic Honor Society. Then I go home, I go to pick up my mom. Then I take her home, I go back to school to see if I have any meeting or anything I have to do. Then I'll do it, and then after that, I go back home, and I don't know what happens after.
So you didn't work at all?
This year, I did work. I did work. I had a job at the end of my junior year, and then at the beginning of this year until February. And then in February, I decided that I didn't need a job, so I quit.
You didn't need it because you wanted to focus on?
I wanted, since it was like my last day, like my last month here in Orlando, I wanted to focus on like my social life and also on other things that I had to do.
Now, Ms. Santiago, do you have any other kids?
¿Tienes otros hijos?
Yes, and so are you using him as an example for, you have a daughter?
Mi hija. Bueno, mi hija va por el mismo camino de él. Ella quiere estudiar también en Princeton porque es lo que está viendo, lo quiere seguir. Y además de eso, le gusta mucho leer, es apasionada por la lectura y le gusta brillar. Sentir de que solamente no ir a la escuela por ir, sino que ir a competir y hacer cada día mejor.
So I also have a daughter. She's in 4th grade and she's following the same steps as him. She wants to go to Princeton. She really likes to read. She's passionate for reading, and she doesn't only go to school to go. She actually wants to become better, and she's a really strong competitor.
So you don't have to force your children to study, or do you make them study? They just do it on their own?
Que si tú tienes que forzar a tus hijos para estudiar.
Bueno, mi secreto es que los primeros años de vida de los niños hay que enseñarlos a tener hábitos de estudio. Porque cuando lleguen a una etapa de 9, 10 años ya ellos tienen el hábito. Ya ellos van a estudiar y esforzarse por sus logros.
So my secret is to teach them when they're young. That way when they become 9 or 10 years old, they already have the studying habits that they need to be successful in life.
Right, so they already have the self-discipline. Well, thank you so much. That was very inspiring to viewers out there, moms, people in high school applying to colleges, even teachers. So thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.